cage in Thailand who are choking on the smoke thrown into the air by factories that produce our school binders. We hear so much about environmental concerns that sometimes our hearts can harden. I remember when my best friend Hannah cut off a foot of her hair. I thought I'd never get used to it. For the next month, every time I saw her, I was once again surprised to see gentle waves of brown curling about her ears, no longer able to reach into her customary ponytail. But after a while, Hannah's short hair began to seem normal. Now I have a hard time picturing Hannah with long hair. The same thing can happen to us regarding the environment. The first time we read an article about the declining state of the ecosystem, we can immediately commit to recycling everything, picking up trash by the side of the road and carpooling more. But then we can lose our enthusiasm. Soon pollution again seems normal, greenhouse gases and curbside litter unavoidable. Loss of zeal really means loss of heart. In order to make a difference, we must really care about the people a polluted environment is affecting, and the God who calls us to do something about it. But it's not just about our hearts. To protect the environment effectively, we must also have minds. We must educate ourselves about the state of the planet and where it will be heading in the very near future if we do nothing to intervene. We must have knowledge about God's biblical demand to care for nature. Remember when you were a young kid playing outside and you somehow didn't hear your mom calling you for dinner? Sorry, Mom, I didn't hear you screaming at the top of your lungs those, 25 times. Seemed like a sorry excuse when she glared at you with one eyebrow raised and her hands on her hips. Don't worry, the God of the universe hasn't borrowed your mother's floral apron, but he is going to hold us accountable for what we do or don't do to steward his creation. With massive climate changes, a plethora of available information about how we are destroying the planet, and hundreds of Bible verses all pointing to our need to care for God's earth, saying we didn't know to God isn't going to cut it. Jamie also pointed out that we need souls. We need spirits rooted in God if we're going to sustain our commitment for the long haul. That's where our generation comes in. There are a lot of great people who care about the environment out there, but they can't do it by themselves. It's great that we've developed the technology to recycle paper that's previously been printed on or to reform old aluminum cans into new ones. But if we don't take the initiative to recycle those things in the first place, they aren't going to be able to do anything. It's up to us to find ways we can make a difference. If each of us makes even a few small changes, the results will have a huge impact on our climate. Many hands make light work. Many souls do great works. The fourth big quality we need if we're really going to make a noticeable difference in the health of our world is strength. I'm not talking about physical, do 500 sit-ups at a time kind of strength, although I could personally do with a little more of that too. No, I'm talking about a determination to do what's right, no matter how fruitless or tiring it may seem. I'm talking about the kind of stamina it takes to go the extra mile for God, even when all you want to do is finish your homework. Well, okay, maybe you don't want to do that, and go to sleep. I am horrible about following through on resolutions. I'm the kind of person who decides she's going to stop procrastinating right up until that next assignment is due and I haven't got around to doing it yet. Or I decide I'm going to be better about writing back to people quickly, but by the next week my inbox is piled gigabytes high. Every time I clean my room, I promise myself I won't let it get messy again, and then the second law of thermodynamics kicks in. Hey, it's the thought that counts, right? Wrong. Getting our thinking right is an important start, but the earth does not register good intentions. Protecting the ecosystem can't become another failed New Year's resolution, like an exercise plan or a work ethic that fizzles out after 3 weeks. We need to have endurance if we're going to change the world. Who is my neighbor? The second part of Jesus' great commandment is to love our neighbor as ourselves. But as my teen leader pointed out, if we want to do that, we need to know who our neighbor is. Yes, your neighbor is the sweet little